grids. So you have the small grid, medium grid, the large grid, you have rings, and then finally you have spiral, which is my favorite emoji lock screen by far. All right, so let's scroll back and check out some of those others. Actually, let's go ahead and choose one of those. Let's choose large grid, and then if we tap the little ellipsis icon, you can actually change the background color if you want to. So you can choose from the color picker, or you can just choose one of the pre-defined background colors as well, and of course change the intensity if you want to do that. So I think that actually looks pretty cool. Let's go ahead and tap done to save, and there's our emoji lock screen. Now let's talk about home screen wallpaper options. So if we go into settings, and then we go in, no, not home screen. If you go into wallpaper and then you tap on the home screen like that, now you're going to see several options. Legibility blur is one of them that I definitely wanted to highlight. What that will do is it will blur that lock screen to make it easier to read or easier to see what's on your home screen icon wise, right? So definitely adds a lot of blur. It's not just a little bit of blur, but a lot of blur, but it only affects the home screen as you see there. So it doesn't touch the lock screen at all, just a home screen effect for legibility. Now let's go back into settings, wallpaper, tap our home screen, and you'll see several other options here at the bottom. So the second option is a gradient background, and you can configure that and then choose the gradient you want. So you can choose the color, and then it'll automatically have its own gradient there. It's pretty subtle, as you can see there, but you can also choose just a flat color if you want to do that. And of course, the color picker is there if you want to choose a flat color. And then last but not least, there's an option to choose a photo as well. Now, let's talk about collections. So collections are basically Apple's own in-house homegrown wallpaper, if you will. And some of them will immediately be recognizable. For instance, the iOS 16 wallpaper is a part of those collections. And then you also have that 3D sort of live wallpaper from yesteryear, some of the older versions of iOS. That is still here that I showed you initially, where you can swipe through the various colors, etc. And speaking of colors, there is the color wallpaper. Don't want to forget that. So you have the shortcut at the top. You just tap color there. And then here you can just choose a background color, or you can scroll all the way down and choose one of the predefined color wallpapers and customize that if you will. So here I like this one right here. And you have the various styles you can swipe through. So you have the tone, deep, vibrant, and it's basically just a little bit of a difference with the gradients as well, and the intensity of those colors. So you can choose a solid there too. So this allows you to customize those colors on both the lock screen and home screen. And you can do so with relative ease as we swipe through the intensities with the gradients and choose the colors that we want. Yeah, so I like that vapor look. What do you guys think? I think it looks pretty cool. So we'll stick with that one. So here's where it gets really interesting in iOS 16 for the lock screen. You have focus linking. You probably have already noticed those little focus buttons at the bottom. You're probably wondering, what are those for? Well, let me show you what focus linking allows you to do, because it can be a big part of the iOS 16 user experience. So just tap the link focus button. You'll see the link focus pop up here. So you can select a focus to turn on with this particular lock screen. So whenever I turn on Do Not Disturb, guess what's going to appear on the lock screen? My mug. So I'm going to switch lock screens now, and then I'm going to enable Do Not Disturb, and watch what happens. What's in the background? There we go. It's linked to a focus. That is focus linking. And as you probably have imagined, it gets deeper than that. So this is a very cool feature. I can't wait to show you more. So let's also talk about notification animations. Now those notifications scroll in from the bottom of the screen on the lock screen. Why is it handy? Well, think about how you hold your phone, especially these large phones now. It's going to be easier to access from the bottom of the screen. So you have that notification view. So you have several views. You have your stack view, you have the list view that we saw initially, and then you have this view right here, which is the count view. So you can actually set the default view if you go into settings and you go to notifications, go to display as, and this is how notifications will appear by default on the lock screen. So you can choose count, stack, or list. Live activities help you to stay on top of things that are happening in real time right from your lock screen. One such example is the now playing interface, which of course is live in real time. In the future, you'll have real-time live activities such as rideshare status, sports scores, etc. Another example of that is the new timer interface, which gets a total redesign for iOS 16. So here's our new timer just set via Siri. And you can see that redesigned timer counting down in real time. And of course, I can pause and play that timer as well. So that has been a look at the lock screen for iOS 16. What do you guys think? Let me know. Okay, so for focus modes, we're going to talk again about lock screen linking. So if we go into settings, focus, we go into one of the various focuses, you're going to see customize screens. So this will allow you to enable a lock screen for a particular focus mode, similar to the linq lock screen option that we had directly on the lock screen. Well, you can do this the opposite way here within focus preferences. So when I choose that lock screen and I go ahead and enable do not disturb, you can see automatically updates both home screen and lock screen wallpaper just like that. And what's cool is that you'll get made for focus suggestions in the lock screen gallery. So when I go, for instance, into the reading focus and I choose that customize lock screen option, you're going to see suggestions right at the top. So choose a suggested lock screen built just for this focus, or you can pick from the gallery as well. So if I choose that one, obviously it's the emoji lock screen, but it's obviously designed with reading in mind. So I'm going to just add that. So now it adds that as a lock screen. When I go into focus reading mode, look what I get as my home screen and my lock screen for that matter. Just like that. That's a really cool new feature in iOS 16's focus modes. But it doesn't stop there. You can also get home screen page suggestions as well. So not only customizing lock screen, but you can go in and choose for the home screen. It's going to give you suggestions. So you can see several of the suggestions have not only the Books app, but also that new Books widget as well. You can go in and edit the apps also that appear on the screen. So news and mail obviously seem like good companions to the Books app. I'll go ahead and add files as well, just for an example. And then if I tap add, this is what happens when you switch over to the reading focus. So you get a customized lock screen and a customized home screen. That is really cool. So you can see this little informational pop up here. This page turns on automatically when reading focus is on. You can edit that page, and any edits you make will remain with that reading focus.